So today we're going to be working on this Blackbird. So you need to take your freezer paper. So you want the matte side up and the shiny side down. And we're just going to trace out the thicker lines. And we're going to ignore the thin lines on the template because they're for the embroidery guidelines. Okay, we're now just going to go through and label them by colour. So it just helps a little bit. So I've got 1 for brown, 2 for the green leaves, and there's just that little bit there, don't forget that. And then 3 for the yellow flowers, and then 4 for the main part of the Blackbird, and 5 for, and that bit there is the same, 4, and that's 5 for the wings. I'm going to cut these out next. Okay, so you just want to separate it with a sharp pair of scissors. This is pretty basic, so the only real complicated bit is we're just going to separate out the flower section here from the Blackbird. You just need a sharp pair of scissors just to reduce the bulk. Okay, we're going to cut the butterfly out, and I'm using this warm brown. So I'm going to press your template onto fabric with a warm iron, and then we can just cut around the shape with a sharp pair of scissors. And then we're going to cut next out the primrose, and we're going to do the leaves, and we're going to leave the flowers attached, because that way we can layer it up and it will make it a little bit easier. Okay, so we're going to cut out these shapes next. So I've cut these out, and I'm just going to, I've peeled away the template and I've just trimmed them down so that I've just got the yellow primrose flowers. I'm going to cut those out of yellow next. So I'm just going to cut these out of this light yellow. I'm going to leave the 2 flowers here joined together, and we'll just separate them with thread later on. So next we're going to cut out the Blackbird. If you want to do a male Blackbird, then you want 2 shades of near black. If you want to do a female Blackbird, you need 2 dark brown shades. But remember only the male Blackbird has the very bright yellow beak. Right, so you want to use your darker shade for the main body, and we're going to cut the whole thing. I'll just flatten this down a bit because it's a bit creased. And cut the whole shape out of the Blackbird. I forgot to mention earlier, but when you're drawing out the template for the Blackbird, just ignore the beak and draw the line through from the 2 connecting points. We're going to now cut this shape out of your lighter fabric, so either the lighter dark grey or the lighter brown. Right, next you need to lay your pieces out. I've actually put my template underneath this fabric because it's a light fabric and it's pretty see-through. I'm using a very light yellow, and you need, the block is an 8-inch block, so it's going to be kind of this size. So you want to be using a kind of at least a 10-inch piece of fabric. I want to wrap mine around a mount, so I've got about a 12-inch piece here. So you want to take your Blackbird and lay him down. We'll take these leaves. Now on this one we cut that close, so we're just going to just tuck it underneath his legs there. Pop on the butterfly. And you've noticed that there were some extra little flowers which are just embroidered, and they're just at the side here, and we're going to be adding those later. Next you need a piece of stabiliser, which is going to be at least as large as the project. So that you're going to do it, and we're just going to lift that up and put it on top. I'm using one called Starlight, and it's a tearable one, which is, I find, easier to move, and I quite like the kind of papery feel that it has. Okay, and we're ready to sew.